Good day, traders. Hope you're all doing well. The vet here, going to do the weekly setups and outlook or outlook and setups, depending on how you look at it. So, welcome. We're going to start with pound dollar. We'll start off from the daily and work our way down, and then we'll jump to the rest of the charts as well and see what we can identify for the new week. It's going to be from the 15th of November to the 19th of November. So let's look at it. Starting on GU, we're going to mark out just first of all starting and marking out the liquidity areas that I do see as most likely to be reached for. So just on the daily, looking at the probably this will be last week's low, and then also the prior days low as well. But that's a bit too low. Let's mark out this low. So as we can see on the daily, we have this imbalance, all of this imbalance there in this area. And so that's potentially an area where price could reach back into in that imbalance before moving down lower. On the daily, we had a structure break over there. So we can just change this to a line. We had a structure break towards the downside over here. So I'm kind of expecting price to make some sort of pullback and then to move down lower just to continue with the trend towards the downside because we are trending. And if you look at a trending market structure that moves towards the downside, if this will just work together. If you look at the market that moves towards the downside trending, we're currently at the lower low and we're looking for price to make that pullback to create a lower high. So if we're trending like this, we're currently down here. This is where we're currently looking for price to pull back, creating a lower high, and then for price to move down lower again. So that's the structure wise what we're looking for and what we need to see happen. So on the lower time frames, I'll then be looking for first buys and then actually short. So just on the 4 hour, this is probably the most important time frame for me now. We're looking at the swing point from the high towards the low and looking for price to at least make its way back up above the 50%. So we'll be looking for areas in above the 50% to then sell off again towards the downside. That being said, on the 1 hour, I need to identify critical levels. From the get-go, I can identify this candle as a level of importance for me. It's a relative big candle, so most likely I will probably refine it on the lower time frames as well. We have some imbalance in that little area as well that will aid us in getting back towards the upside. We have this previous high here, but it's still in the discount, so I'll be looking for price to make a bit higher movement. So from a 50-minute point of view, I'd obviously be looking then for lower highs to move back up towards the upside. So I'll be looking for price to start trending towards the upside and getting in on the first higher low, and then move back towards the upside. So that's kind of the idea that I'm going with and that I'm having in my mind for early on next week. On the 15-minute, it's a bit early to say, but there's probably some areas in here that could be a reaction point for longs. So ideally, I would be looking for longs. And then if we just look at it, we have this liquidity low over there. Price to sweep this low potentially and tap something in here on the 5 minutes. Potentially something in here on the lower time frame. So that's more or less the idea that I have, and we'll see how it plays out and combining that with the session openings to look then for certain entry points. So that's GU. Let's have a look at EU. We'll start off on the daily as well. So the daily has just been flashing towards the downside. There's no stopping it. So obviously this is the most recent low, and that's our swing high all the way back up there towards the upside. And looking then at this leg towards the downside, we can also then potentially look for price to make a pullback back above 50% and then only move down lower. So just from a 4 hour point of view, I would be looking for that retracement trades. We had some beautiful structure breaks over here as well. So all of that signaling for me that we could potentially see price moving back towards the upside. That's then ideally what I would be looking for. Then on the 4 hour, you can just look at price action. There's a lot of empty spaces, a lot of imbalance. I'm mostly concerned with this one. I'm taking it from the 50% to that imbalance because that's then obviously above 50%. I wouldn't be concerned too much about this one. I would want to see price tap the 50%. So that's the first area that I would be looking for price to reach back into. So then on the lower time frames, I'll be looking for price to give us confirmation that we are moving higher. This on the 1 hour, then some areas. This is the most recent liquidity high. Why do I say liquidity high? Because a lot of people sold here because we have probably had something on the left. The stop losses is just above it, and they are currently sitting in this consolidation. So we'd be careful to see price move back up there and just move up higher. Currently, some liquidity below these equals over there. Price is overall just consolidating in this area. So there's nothing super clear for us to base off of a trade now. So I would want to see some conviction, some bullish candles moving towards the upside that will give us an indication that price is bullish, perhaps break the structure over here. I would like to see that structure being broken. And then obviously on the lower time frames, well, everything is just messy. So I would want to see these highs start to being broken and some bullish candles printing above it, preferably on the 1 hour, and then looking for price to make that pullback on the lower time frames and then continuing up higher. And I'll be looking for longs to go all the way up towards the upside because you can see price started with momentum towards the downside. We had the momentum towards the downside. Then we started getting soft, slowing down. So we were making the cup formation. And then I'm looking for price to give some more momentum towards the upside again, looking for that pullback and then a continuation up higher. So this is my reversal, high time frame reversal pattern. If you have to draw it out, it's a Sulu slope with a peak and then a continuation up. So that's what I'm looking for on the lower time frames, looking for that confirmation now that we're potentially going up. So in the setup signal group for this month, we'll be looking for longs. So keep that in mind, guys. On the 50-minute, it's not worth it looking at 50-minute now. We'll need to see Monday's price action first and get a sense of what's going to happen. So that's it for euro dollar. Let's go back to the high time frames and then we start looking at the next pair, which would be Aussie dollar from a daily time frame. What is it that we can look at? Well, I haven't been really trading Aussie dollar that much, but we have that break in structure. So market is moving towards the upside. So if you just look at price from a training point of view, this is what we're currently seeing. So potentially somewhere this is now the new higher low. If we just look at the premium and discount, we are currently sitting in discount. So we'd be looking for some reasons for price to go higher. If we just look at the 4 hour, it's difficult for me to say exactly where price is reacting off of because there's various levels where price could be reacting off of. So there's some wicks, there's nothing clean or clear for me personally in this area to see where price is reacting off of. So if I can't see anything where price is reacting off of, then I want to see the confirmation in the price action, in current price action. And we're seeing that bullish momentum towards the upside. So then on the 1 hour, we could see price creating that bullish momentum. So this actually doesn't look bad. So we had a low there. We swept that low. We broke structure towards the upside. So we had this structure break. Now, obviously, I'm just looking for price to come back down lower towards an area for me to buy. This is not a full body candle, so I'll be dropping down to a time frame where I could identify this as a full body candle. More full body than it is currently. So on the 5 minute, we get our most cleanest full body candle. So that's where I refine it to on the 5 minute. That's then my refinement time frame. That's the area that I'm looking for. And on the 1 hour, that's the area that I'm looking for. So I won't be too concerned about this wick. That's the area that I'm looking for on the 1 hour. We have clean and clear imbalance in this area. So this would be the area for me to see price return to. Early on in the week, I want to see price coming down into this area, respect this area, and then move back towards the upside. So I'll be implementing my rules and regulations that I need to apply to look for longs in this area. I'm also going to just screenshot this because this is something that I'll be using for the cover of this video. That's what I'll be using. So we're looking still for longs potentially early on in this week. First the pullback and then a continuation back towards the upside. So that is Aussie dollar. Next up is gold. So I promised you guys I'll start just analyzing. I'm not trading gold, but I'm start analyzing it in this analysis for you, get my view on it, and then you can make your own decision on what you want to do with it. So I'll just look at the weekly first. Have no sense of direction for this pair, so it's really difficult for me. But potentially, this is a higher time frame range, higher time frame area where price could potentially be reacting, reaching for. And if we then go to the 4 hour, this is potentially an area where price could be reaching for. It's so far back in time, I have no idea if it's any good or valid. You guys that trade gold often, you can tell me. So this area does look good. I'll take that buy candle, but I'll use this wick as well. We have some imbalance there as well. All of this imbalance in here as well. So there's definitely cause for price to go higher. And we can see price is relatively strongly pushing up. So all that I can say now is price is trending, and we're seeing price making highs, lows, higher highs, higher lows. So we could potentially sell down, but then look to buy against a higher time frame analysis, and probabilities for me is buys then. So patience, waiting for the higher low to form, and then getting in on the longs down here. We don't know yet where that down low is because we can't yet place the premium and discount on it because price hasn't stopped yet. We first need to see price stop somewhere and then start pulling back. That gives us the confirmation that it made the high high. Now we're looking for price to create the lower higher low within the discounted area below the 50% and then take the longs towards the upside. So just from the most recent structure point of view, I would be looking for price to go lower and then to go higher. Just because we have this level up here, I would want to see price reach this area. The other alternative is that on the higher time frame, price can just be making a small pullback wick and then continue back up higher towards this area. So look at this wick on the lower time frames for price to potentially reach that area, and then we get to see this candle. It's a little tip and trick. So that could be an area where price returns to early on in the week before continuing up higher. So if we don't see the deeper pullback, wait to see if price makes a smaller pullback down into this area and then continue up higher. So that's what I have to say about gold. And then last up we have pound yen. For some this is a favorite, for others this is a nightmare. Make up your mind what you do like about it and then stick to it. So higher time frame, we can see we're bullish, we're moving towards the upside, and just what also confirms that biases is that we had a strong structure break over there. We started seeing price pushing down towards the downside. This is the leg that moved towards the upside and then broke structure. Then we're looking for price to reach a area of interest or order block in the lower time frame. So there is a order block, and then we can potentially look at 50% of that area. So potentially looking for price to come lower and then go back up higher. So potential shorts quickly in the week first and then moving down lower. So we have this very decent liquidity lows. We haven't swept any lows yet. So I do think that we could still see price sweep these lows and then give us some confirmation moves back towards the upside. So early on in the week potentially move down, but then rest of the week moving for price to move up higher. I think that's kind of the idea that I'm going for and what I'll be looking for to see early on in the week. Yeah, that's the 1 hour. So that's it, guys. Hope you all enjoyed it and it made sense. Yeah, join the Telegram group, join the community if you liked it and want to learn more about how we trade. Absolutely love to have you there. That's it from my side. Have a wonderful day. See you guys again.